Hey, this is our first test run for the Party Wagon podcast. We're calling this episode 0 because we're just kind of doing this as a fun test run. We've been sitting here for about 2 hours now discussing what the hell we're going to do. So I guess we're just going to kind of run with it and go with what we've got. So we've got a couple of topics we want to talk about here today. Some hot topics, some fun topics. We'll see how they go. And I have some of our other Party Wagon admins here in the group today. We have Nick, who is representing Donatello here today, because that's just where I felt like throwing him. We've got Steven, who is Michelangelo. Although Steven's not a party dude, we're just throwing him in with Mikey here today as well.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we've got Justin, also known as Casper on Instagram, down as Leo, the second best turtle. Don't forget that.
That's debatable.
Without further ado, I guess this is our first one we're just jumping into. So happy New Year, everyone. And thank you for taking the time out tonight to come chat with me and make this a reality, since we've been talking about it for like 6 months now.
Yeah, it's about time. No. Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming now for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So one of our hot topics that we have today is going to be in regard to the action figures that we all collect and love. If you're looking at the background for Justin right now, you can see that he has a couple on his shelf, just a few that he's been collecting over the years. But I want to start with you, Justin. Have you thought about it? What figures are you looking forward to in 2023, and what figures do you want to see in 2023 that we haven't seen yet?
Well, as far as looking forward to, I'm actually really looking forward to Rex 1. He's one that I've wanted ever since NECA kind of started off. Um, I'm interested to see what McFarlane's going to end up putting out, especially their vehicles, because vehicle-wise, they're usually pretty well priced. So I'm interested to see what's going to come of that. I was super happy with getting Usagi. He was on my most wanted list for sure ever since NECA came out. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see I can't remember the other bot's name, but the alpha bot that goes against Rex 1. I'd like to see him. I want to see a giant Irma more than anything, to be honest, because I think a quarter scale Irma would fit with the giant Irma episode from the original show. So that's my most wanted thing.
Yeah, and even if they don't do like a quarter scale one, we could probably see one in like a larger scale, maybe in the Chrome Dome scale, because
Right.
overall the scales, they don't always 100% match up. Like the pizza monsters, if you look at them in the episode, they're a quarter scale pizza monster if you were to translate them into toy form. So, and I only know that because I literally watched that episode last night because I was bored. Same with the Rex 1 episode. So I can't wait till you and I buy a ton of those and just start painting them, because there's a lot of those evil Rex ones that are from the episode that we're going to end up painting, I bet.
Okay. See, I'm assuming because we are getting Rex 1. We know that. I think the alternate colors. It makes sense that NECA will release those down the line. I mean, we've got nothing official about that, but I can see that being a repaint that they do later for sure.
Definitely, yeah. And shout out to one of our good buddies, Aaron Hazori, who did the box art for that. He's done the box art on a lot of cool figures lately. And
Yeah, he
that's
did a
one of
lot
them,
of
Rex
cool.
1.
I was watching the episode where Slash got introduced also, and I think I like the variants of like the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang, stuff like that. And there's some of like the accountants that have their own turtle, almost kind of like the Crooked Ninja Turtle thing. I wish I had a picture of it. But they look ridiculous. I would love to get those. I would love to get any human character throughout the series. I feel like human characters we don't get a lot of. Like, there's so many different gangster sets that we could get that could either be 2 packs or 4 packs. So I would love to see it that. Once they get into the Red Sky, we'd love to see like Globfather, a bunch of those. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on them, but I like a lot of the Red Sky stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited about Red Sky stuff. I'm hoping we get a Red Sky Rat King at some point, because it's a
Yeah,
pretty easy thing to do. I've shown Trevor mine, and he thinks it's really cool. You just throw a trench coat on that figure, and you're good to go. Brand new re-release.
yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. Well, we could probably just keep this conversation going in regards to that. And I guess we'll just interject at any time. I feel like I'm interviewing you guys right now, or like I'm hosting some kind of interview. Like you guys are really cool and you do something really cool with your lives, which we all know that Nick does when he's delivering drinks to people. Sorry to put you on the spot, Nick.
That's fun.
So I guess with that, we'll just jump to you, Nick. What are you looking forward to? Like, what are you looking forward to? What do you want to see? What's your top figure?
Well, I'm looking forward to their expansion on the movie line figures, since that was something I've always really enjoyed, was the movies, which used to watch those 24/7 as a kid. So with the whole Kino release, that one I'm looking forward to, and hoping that they release one of the Bigfoot soldiers from the second movie that you see in the lab. That'd be a cool figure to see.
Yeah, which we did see one of those Bigfoot soldiers kind of leaked, didn't we?
I'm not sure.
Did you forget?
I don't remember that.
So yeah, one leaked a few months ago when there was that big, was it Xanatos, that big gargoyles figure that was like the paint master.
I'm so excited for Xanatos. Gargoyles, I'm all in.
All in as well.
Yeah. Same.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, we're getting a big movie foot soldier if that photo holds up. So far, we've seen that there was the Kino's unpainted scooter was in the background, and that became a reality.
Yeah.
So
that's one I'm looking forward to as well. I mean, I don't know. Anything that they do Turtles wise, I'm always looking forward to. But Kino's definitely up there on the list as well too. Sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting in.
No, we're supposed to be doing this.
No problem.
This is our first time as our test run. You know, Steven's looking like a statue over here. Open your mouth. Let's talk. Let's have fun.
Like in our chat groups, you know, we're much more fluent. Now it's like interview process.
Yeah, this is our first time. I'm the only one with experience talking on a camera because I used to do this for work. But I'm literally staring into a camera right now, and I'm trying not to look to my multiple screens with all my friends on it. So, yeah. So what else, Nick? What are we looking for? What do you hype for? What do you wish would be like a thing?
Apologies for your dog noises. I'm over at my sister's house right now, but with the whole Kino figure and all, I'll definitely have to try and find some figures or get someone to do custom figures of that scene where he gets on the bike to deliver the pizza, talking to those girls. I'll have to recreate that scene or something. But definitely, if they continue to expand on the Secret of the Ooze line, maybe the thugs in the beginning of the movie that are robbing the little strip mall. That'd be cool figures to add. That and maybe a professor figure. Those would be cool.
Which we might get. There's been word that they're expanding on Secret of the Ooze, so we might get them.
Yeah. There's always room to expand in the movie lines, really. I mean,
that'd be
one will probably never get.
How many more figures can they actually do for the movie? If you think about it.
Oh,
probably do quite a few, so I mean,
limited.
Well, if we're getting a Kino scooter, that just means that we might get the pizza delivery guy from the first movie. He had a scooter, didn't he?
That would be awesome.
Well, the delivery guy from the first movie, that's Michelangelo.
That's Michelangelo, yeah. That's the stunt guy.
Yeah. But, yeah, get a pizza delivery guy. I mean, there's could possibly get the Secret of the Ooze April. If they eventually do expand on in the third movie, get all the 4 turtles there. Any of the samurais and all that. Get the jailer. I mean, there's endless possibilities for movie line up until, they stop making them.
Oh, I still want. I'd still love to get the cop from the first one that April gets into it with. But Paige as April would be a great one to get for sure.
Yeah, was it just Chief Stearns? Chief Stearns.
Yes.
There you go.
Chief Stearns. Yep.
Yeah, in the most recent podcast, we're going to reference a podcast from a podcast. This is like podcast inception. With the recent Fooscash with Trevor, Veebs did bring up Chief Stearns, and Trevor kind of laughed and like nodded it off a little bit. So, I mean, maybe we might get a Chief Stearns. I don't know if that actor's still alive or not, but I feel like a lot of times when some of those older actors pass away, their family will always license their likeness and stuff out. It's just to kind of make some extra money. I mean, it sounds negative, but
memorialize them.
Yeah, sometimes it sounds negative when you're talking about it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of cool, and a lot of people like us just appreciate it, and we respect having that in our collection.
Yeah.
So having an action figure of a human, of a person, isn't as weird as they might make it sound. Think or sound. There's two words together.
Jamie, I'd love to have my own action figure.
Yeah, me too. Well, spoiler, that's my top figure for 2023. I want a Steven action figure. I want Steven sitting here on my always telling me to do
Gotta get those dad shoes on him.
Get figures of all. Have us sitting on the couch like in Friends.
Yeah. Steven, what are you looking at? What are you looking forward to? I know what you're looking at. You're looking at us.
Well, I'm kind of with Justin with the Rex 1, right? When I first started the Toon line, I've been wanting that Rex 1, so I'm super excited that they're coming out. And the baby turtles. I don't know why, but I always loved those episodes. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. But for the turtles that I hope NECA makes is, or anyone, is Karai and Lord Drag. So I'm hoping that they actually release those soon.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We haven't really seen much on stuff like that, have we?
No.
Was that it? That's all you got? It's a pretty small list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything else that I wanted, they actually produced. But once they actually produce, ones that I didn't think of, I'm sure I'm going to be like, I need that one. So.
Yeah, they tend to do that a lot. There's a lot of, like, you would have never, like that new Elite Enforcer, that blue giant, like, Elite Foot Enforcer that they showed off on the Mirage line. None of us knew about that. No one even knows. No one can even figure out what comic it was from. But we saw that, we're like, I want that. I need that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's sick. I guess it kind of just leaves me. If you don't want to talk anymore about stuff, you're not looking forward to things. Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to this year of like stuff that I'm looking forward to, and you guys talked a lot about NECA and everything, I'm looking forward to hearing more about the Mezco Mirage Turtles that we've been getting teased forever, right? Like, where are the Mirage, the Mezco? Mezco never releases anything within a timely manner, and we haven't even seen these goddamn things yet. Like, we've seen like some silhouettes and some little bit of color and some like test samples. I'm assuming that they put on a shelf, but we haven't seen anything on those yet, and I'm super hyped to find out more about those. So I guess that's why
those completely passed my mind.
Right, it's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much out there. There's like, we are so like up on NECA stuff that we love, that we collect a lot of, but like we always forget that there's so many other lines that have the license. Mondo just got bought out by Funko, and look what they're already doing with the Masters of the Universe line. Like, everybody, like with our our good friend Mad Hatter, he just got in a bunch of his Masters of the Universe figures. They got She-Ra, they got a Skeletor that was like animation style.
Yeah. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, He-Man was in that. Like, that shit's awesome. And like, I'm really hoping that Funko just says, Mondo, here's a bunch of money, start putting stuff out. I actually have my Mondo turtles in the background there. They're like in front of my quarter scale turtles, and I love those things. I am a big fan of those, but they fall apart easily. They're not the best quality, and for the price, they kind of suck. But they just look great. So like, maybe Funko will capitalize on turtles. So I guess like that would be one of my anticipated, something I hope that happens, is Mondo does something like that. But I'm gonna throw y'all through a curveball. I'm hoping, because there's been so many changes, I'm hoping we get new Universal monsters, the turtles in different forms as a new release, not new colorway or anything like that. An homage to the OG Playmates. This was. What was that?
I definitely see that being a possibility if they kind of follow the route that Playmates did. 'Cause Playmates released multiple versions of each, so I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't do it that way. They're already venturing off in the Toon line with Space Donnie and Space Usagi, which weren't really. I mean, there was a Space Usagi for the Playmates, but other than the astronaut line, which looks not. I mean, they don't look anything like what their Playmates were. But those were the only version. I don't remember there being a Space Usagi or a Space Don like in the cartoon. For sure.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, for sure not.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome. They're getting creative with them now. Like, that's been a thing that I was able to find out. It's like, those aren't going to be things that were in a cartoon or whatever. It's kind of like a creative freedom that they're going to be doing in that style.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's another homage to Playmates. You know what I mean? Like Playmates always did that. They always did those weird, obscure things. Why not do that with the Turtles with the NECA line, which I think is awesome, which also leads me into what I want to see, what I'm hoping we see. We saw that huge. To us, it was huge. We saw that really, really ridiculous sneak peek in San Diego Comic-Con of the Last Ronin toon version hidden in the display, the diorama.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
I want to see more of that. I want to see Raph. I want to see Donnie. I want to see
that would be cool
in a toon form. How cool would that be?
The only thing I hope they don't do that Playmates did is like there'd be certain times where they'd only make 2 or they'd make 3 of the Turtles. Like if they're gonna make the Space series, I really hope that they don't make like 3 of the Turtles and then leave the 4th one. Playmates did that with a lot of different lines when they were, that ended out.
Yeah.
So it's like if they do go with a thing, and that's why I like the 4-packs, is because when you get a 4-pack, even if it's like the Turtles in Disguise, where they're pretty much wearing the same thing, at least you got all of them right on the spot.
Right.
So like I'm totally, and I'm all in for the Space Don and the Space Usagi. I don't care if they were a part of anything or not; they look great.
Right. And I'll be buying 4 of those because you can swap out the heads with the Turtles in Disguise and
right.
the Holothon pack, so I'll be having 4 Space Turtles.
Right. Well, and that's the other one.
Do you think those Space Turtles should be under the toon line or their own?
I think they should be. That's a good question. I think that they should fall under toon line for now, but I think if they continue, if it's successful, which I think it will be, they branch off into a separate style of line. It's almost like if they were to combined like the Last Ronin with the Mirage line, but now that the Last Ronin's kind of getting bigger, it's not in a comic book line, it's kind of a subsection now. I hope they do something like that. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. There's so much money I'm gonna be spending, and to what you said, Justin. Yeah, it's cool to get all the 4 figures at once. Like the new Jim Lawson Turtles that they're doing, the new designs that they showed off. Those are going to be a 4-pack. So you don't have to go hunt them down individually or in 2 packs like we have to do with like the Secret of the Ooze Turtles. I'm pretty excited that we can just get all those in one shot. My wallet's not happy that I have to spend all that money at once, but
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think another thing that I really like about getting the 4-packs in general is while the boxes are big, I display a lot of the the inserts from the boxes.
Right.
And their inserts are really, really cool in the bigger ones. I mean, typically their inserts look pretty good anyway. But the bigger insert you have, the more you can do with it.
Right.
So it's when I'm doing photos and things like that, it makes it a lot, it makes it a lot easier for me to do photos with them.
Yeah, I do the same exact thing. Most people don't even realize that that's all that is the insert. And then the boxes in general, I keep them on my shelf. Or I keep them on a shelf. Actually, I take like those sticky tacks or some kind of sticky adhesive. I just stick them to my wall and they just look cool. Just wall art.
I wish I could do that. I've got all mine up in the attic, but I take the inserts out and I flip the cardboard backwards, so it kind of gives it a little bit more, a little bit of dimension to it when you're looking at it, and then you can actually have like an extra little hidden ledge where you can put stuff in it.
Definitely, yeah, dude, it's so cool. And speaking of box sets, super shout out to Steven, who is there on my screen if you're watching, video watchers out there. Steven finally hooked me up with some black and white Mirage Turtles, which I just posted some photos on in a group and social media. I just got really bored the other night. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm going to do these cool photos. I've been staring at these damn turtles for like weeks now since I got them, wanted to take photos, but they're so beautiful, I just didn't want to touch them. So huge shout out to Steven for hooking me up with those, because I would have never have bought those if it wasn't for him being like, yo, you want these? Hell yeah.
Well, I mean, come on, you had to have them, so that's why I hooked you up.
Yeah, I definitely
I'm glad you like them.
Yeah, and I'm eternally grateful. So if you ever looking for cool stuff, like here we go, we're gonna plug the group real quick. One of our group members, Jesse, was selling them. Steven grabbed them, and then sent them over to me. I mean, I paid for them; they weren't a gift, but yeah, we get insane people posting stuff all the time. So I'm super excited. I mean, that's another thing. Hurts my wallet, man. That's the worst.
Well, that's
I know
why
if
I
I
try
were
to
to ever get those.
that's why I try to forget about the Mezco turtles that are coming out, because this is going to be my introduction to Mezco, and that terrifies me.
Same.
Same here.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I heard they're
Yeah.
crazy expensive too, and it's supposed to come out quick.
yeah, it's like my introduction to. I bought one Mythic Legions figure, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not good." Pristine, beautiful quality. I'm like, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be rough. I can already feel it.
Yeah, legions.
Yeah, I'm
Legions look
surprised I
like
haven't done that.
yeah, those are a hole that I just can't jump into right now.
Yeah, it's tough. But all right, so while we're on the subject of toys, I posted a couple of leaks here today on some toys that are coming out. Posted some screenshots a couple weeks ago that leaked from Pitos, whatever that is. It's some kind of onion ring snack. I don't know what the heck it is, but a lot of us are super hyped. 2023 Mutant Mayhem is going to be coming out this year. We're aiming for the summer, I believe, is when it's supposed to come out. No trailer yet, but there's been some leaks. We've seen some toys. We've seen some random images, some concept art. I will just put you on the spot right off the bat, Justin. Justin said he has not seen the leaks yet, so he can't really talk much about them. But if you're thinking about, you maybe have seen something while we're talking, be like, oh, I remember seeing those images. Jump in. But I know Nick's seen them. Nick's the youngest one out of all of us, so Nick's I'm gonna put Nick on the spot as the baby of the group. All of us old AARP guys about to collect our Social Security. Nick grew up with different turtles than us, so I want to ask Nick, what do you think of the new turtles, the new toys, the new drawings, the new art style? I guess we're gonna call it.
I mean, they've got their uniqueness, I guess, but I'd say they kind of look like a mix of the '80s turtles mixed with a bit of the 2012 and Rise, kind of with their bandana design and like how they're like their height wise, but the color wise, like their skin color and all, it matches kind of like the '80s, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like a blend of three different genres.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. I mean, I'm okay. I'm not hyped on them. I'm reserved on them because I was reserved on the 2012 Turtles. I hated the designs. I didn't like that they were doing the animation style, but it ended up being an absolute banger. So if you haven't watched the 2012 Turtles, you, Nick, which I know you probably did. What?
No.
What was that? All right.
I haven't. I've been trying to find the box set for the DVDs at Walmart and watch through it.
Right.
I've probably watched maybe 20 episodes out of all of it. That's about it.
I've done 3 seasons on Netflix and then they pulled it. So I've not, I admittedly have not gone that far. Steven, what about you?
I've actually watched every single episode. I record it on my DVR every week.
So for Nick not to have watched it, right, entirely. So what they did was they literally recreated a lot of old ones that we grew up on. And they kind of changed the stories a little bit. They did a lot of the same characters, a lot of the same ideas, a lot of the same stories. They even pulled from the movies a little bit. They were really good. So the reason I said that is that I think with Mutant Mayhem, I think it might be good because the design of the turtles will never really, like explains or should make you feel a certain way. It's hard to explain. I don't really know how to say it. It's like, don't judge. They say don't judge a book by its cover. Like, we don't know what they sound like. We don't know how the animation style is yet. We don't know. Like, what if it's like Spider-Verse, where it's, they have the frame skips. I mean, people would be mad.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot to deal with it personally, but I'm always open to anything new turtle-wise. Like, I heard a lot of people say Batman versus TMNT was going to be garbage when it came out. I personally love it. They're some of my favorite figures. I love the majority of the renditions. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas and the tour and all that stuff. But when it comes to like the series, like the original '80s series, 2003, 2012, I've seen every episode of all 3 of those, and some of them probably way too much. And like, I think they're all good in their own way. I wasn't the biggest fan of Rise, but I also, it wasn't really designed for me either. So,
yeah, I got something definitely I want to talk about in regard to that. But Steven, what are your thoughts on it? I know you've seen them. It's been in the group chat. We've been kind of talking about it.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of agree with Nick. I mean, it does have a mix. I'm glad it kind of looks like the 80s Turtles. Kind of made me happy there. There's a couple of things I don't like about them, but overall, I can't wait for the movie to come out for me to watch it. But no, I kind of do like them. So
Yeah. So Justin said he hasn't seen them yet, but they're very. I guess for people that haven't seen it yet, before you go check out the website or our Facebook group, the Party Wagon. We've posted a lot of stuff on there in regard to it, but if you haven't seen it, like Justin, they're very colorful and animated, much like the way the Rise was, where you've got that bright color, that bright pop, the kind of like that goofy kind of personality. And I don't mean with Raphael being a big hunking brute. All the turtles look the same. They have the same body type, just like they did in the original cartoons, which is cool. Like, I'm okay with that. But we got to see how they move. We got to see how they talk. We just got to see their personalities. We can't judge it off of a couple of toys we saw. And Justin, for what we're referencing, some pullback toys. They're on skateboards. You pull them back and they move. They have 3 points of articulation.
See those? I wasn't able to like stare them down or anything, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, looks like their shoulders move and their head moves. Like, that's all the articulation we're getting on those. They're kids' toys. We don't know who's making them. We can't tell by the logo in the bottom corner, but it looks like it's white, and maybe the text is blue. It might be a Playmates logo. We don't know if it's just them or a third party. But, if it's a third party, that also helps us kind of drive home that McFarlane's doing those movie figures that leaked a couple of weeks ago, which I'm pretty hyped on, because we don't know if they're going to be movie accurate versions of them or if they're going to be todified. What if they're todified? What if these are like some badass looking turtles based off of the movie?
That's totally what I'm hoping for sure. I want, Todd, do your thing. Go nuts.
Yeah. Give me sharp edges. Give me like cool accessory cloaks or something. I don't care. I think cool.
You know what? I'll tell you what. If anybody were to do the Dark Turtles versions of the Turtles, I would love to see McFarlane's take on it. Because I think the detail would be incredible.
Definitely, yeah. And what I wanted to get to, and I kind of wanted to touch base on for anybody out there, like, I'm usually trying to be a positive guy because normally I'm pretty I'm just bummed out and negative all the time because I hate everybody, including you, Nick. I'm joking, but I try to be positive all the time, so I try to preach a positive vibe. And we've been seeing a lot of negativity on these turtles lately. I mean, everywhere you go, people don't like them. They're ripping on Raphael having the full head cap. He doesn't have the bandana. He's got the full head cap again, which seems to be a staple of Raphael. A lot of people keep tying it back to the Michael Bay stuff, because he had in the Michael Bay films, he had that head cap. But like early 90s, late 80s maybe, they had it in the comics, didn't they?
Yeah.
All of them did. All of them wore that. So like that's always been an homage.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. The great thing about Turtles is it's always changing, and there's always going to be a different render of it, and that's what's kept it alive. All these great series have always gone through different changes throughout, and like Batman, like Marvel, it's all gone through massive amounts of changes, and that's what keeps them surviving. We have our things that we love about each individual one, and there's going to be successes and failures that come along with it. That's just like the way it goes. But yeah, you gotta adapt. And there's no reason to judge it until you've either seen it or reviewed it. Whatever. That's my take on it anyway.
Well, I agree to a certain extent, but all these reboots are coming out with all these older TV shows and stuff. I would love to see the '80s again rebooted with the same voice actors.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. There's a lot of turtle stuff coming up, and I don't know. I could see them bringing some of those original actors back. They've been doing a lot of stuff together lately, and I want to say I feel like somebody said something about something potentially, but I don't remember what it was. So definitely don't quote me on that.
Right,
but I would love to.
Right, and a couple of episodes over the 20. Sorry.
No, don't. Go ahead. Let's talk.
In a couple of episodes in the 2012 version, there is the old voice actors came back, and that was definitely my favorite episodes.
Yeah, Raphael did Leonardo's voice, didn't he?
Yeah.
Rob Paulson. Yeah. So that's where I thought you were going to go with this, Steven. This is where I thought you were going with this. So now I'm going to ask you this question, right? And this is going to lead into a conversation I had in the group earlier today that's really like ringing a bell for me. And I think people need to think about it a little more. But what I'm going to ask you, Steven, is do you think that Viacom's the one that's pulling up, they're the ones approving all this. Do you think that they're like, no, you can't make that dark when it comes to the new Mutant Mayhem? Do you think that they're going to try to aim this film towards kids? Or do you think that they're going to allow it to actually appeal to us? Because when you really think about it, they have to appeal to kids to keep the franchise alive like we are at age undisclosed right now. Because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them in the 80s, right? And then for Nick in the... We'll add a couple years after Nick. Late 90s, early 2000s for Nick.
Go with that.
So like a perfect example, right? So like I love the 2003 Turtles, man. I love that. I used to record it. I used to bring it into art class when I was in high school. We used to use it for art rap. We used to watch it. I used to record it on VHS, bring it in, we'd watch it, then we'd sketch and we'd learn from it, right? So like that was a very good series. And that was actually Peter Laird's doing. He focused on that himself. But my question for you is for Steven do you think that they are leaning with just our concept art or our images we've seen, not concept art, their actual designs? Do you think they're leaning too far into it being a kids show to try to garner those kids? Or do you think that they're going to try to balance it more towards the adult side of things with Seth Rogen writing and with him being very open on what his vision was?
I mean, with those designs, I think they're leaning more towards kids. Because, I mean, fuck me if I'm wrong, because I'm not 100% on this. Doesn't Nickelodeon still own them?
Yeah, Viacom does. That's Nickelodeon's parent company.
Right. So I'm really thinking they won't allow it. It's Nickelodeon brand.
Right.
And so they're geared towards kids. So I would love to see more geared towards adults, but no, I don't think it's going to happen.
Right. So on top of that, this is for everybody. So why is it a problem if it's geared towards kids when we have so much other media in the Turtles universe that isn't geared towards kids? Last Ronin, Batman. Oh, sorry, we had the Batman Turtle crossover. We've had that Ghostbusters one a couple years ago. Now we've got the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series and stuff like that. There's so much media out there that's not geared towards kids. Does this warrant people being upset that one movie that's coming out might not be geared towards adults? What do you think? Everybody, just talk. What are we feeling?
What I think about this is, if it's a kids movie, it kind of gives something for parents to go and watch with their kids to get them into the Turtles with them. I mean, it's kind of something to bring their family into it with them for kids. I mean,
right.
I see it as kind of like a join-in point for younger generation.
Right. So yeah, like, do you think it's fair? I know, Justin. What were you thinking? Like, is it fair? Is it warranted?
Well, I think when anything new comes out, especially something that's attached to such a historical thing, because we're coming up on 40 years. 40 years. Yeah, years. And when there's so much attachment to it, there's going to be different levels of people seeing it different ways. Like, the only way I really see it is we'll have to see what it's like when it comes out. And then, like, I mean, I'm interested in seeing it, but I also recognize, like you said, there's so many different medias that have come out, different animated movies, different comics, and so on and so on. New games, like, we had games that were strictly catered to our generation that just came out.
Cowabunga Collection is a pure example.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge was done in the style, like, that was 100% catered to us. Like, there needs to be that flexibility where we have stuff coming out for kids, like, whether we like it or not. It's like, that portion doesn't matter, because it's not like they're not thinking about it. We got NECA focus on making action figures, and Super 7, while I don't collect Super 7, I still like their figures, and the fact that they're made off of the Playmate style, I think that's, that's a cater towards us. The prices and QC and all that, that's all stuff we can debate on a separate level.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as like us getting stuff, like, this is the prime time for us as collectors, as original fans and stuff like that, what I'm really hoping for to see is like something 2003 down the line, because while I grew up with the original series, 2003 does remain my favorite out of them all. So I would eventually love to see that. But yeah, I mean, it may be childish, and again, I haven't seen much about it, but I'm able to step back out of like the picture and realize, like you said, that there's so much that we do get, and there's still so much more to come. It's not like it's going to be ending and this is going to be the last thing. You know, maybe we get another. You know, what happened when the movie came out? We got a bunch of kids cartoon. We got the kids cartoon, and then we got a very gritty TMNT movie. Maybe that cycles around again. We get another gritty movie.
Right.
You know, it's there will be more to come for sure.
Yeah, we got comics. We got comics where turtles are spoiler for anybody that hasn't read Last Ronin yet. Turtles are murdered on panel, and they're working on adapting that into a miniseries. Like we're gonna still get media, you know, to cater to us. So like it's not. I feel like everybody just needs to relax, take a step back, and just enjoy what we're getting, and give this a try. You have a child. Steven has 16 children, I think it is.
No, I only have 2.
Well, they're not out there plowing the fields for you. And I'm joking.
You know, my 3-year-old, I told her to start working already, but she's not listening.
At the end of the day, you guys are going to be able to bring your kids to go see this movie, and then you're going to be able to have an excuse for your wives on why you're going out and buying more Turtles toys. I see that as a win, right?
Yeah, yeah, we're just it's just extending it, and things that are bad have a natural way of just not, you know, they have a way of failing if they're not good right off the showcase.
Right.
But they're only, you can listen to a critic or you can listen to your buddy or whoever saw it, but the only way you can really have an opinion is to watch it. I mean, that's just, again, my view on it. Like, you can't really judge something until you know what you're watching, or until you're judging.
Steven, anything? Do you think we covered it? What do you think?
You know, honestly, it's just, how can I put it this way? Any reason to go buy Turtles excuses, I'm down for. So if it's for a kids movie or not, I'd still take my kids. Even though I shouldn't, I'd probably get yelled at from my wife. But you know what? I have that much love for the Turtles, I wouldn't care. You know, so I'm just stoked about this upcoming movie, and I'm just super excited. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I mean, that just kind of leads me to what I wanted to kind of bring up is I had a conversation with somebody today, and it was really tough for me to like make sure that I was taking a adult perspective on it, I guess we'll call it. I didn't want to, you know, it's so easy to get so hot-headed on the internet and tell someone they're wrong. But, you know, there are people out there that are consistently negative. They have a negative view on things. They're always the downer. They take the opportunity to be negative because it's on the internet. When in real life, they're probably just a super nice, joyous person. But, you know, today I had posted photos of these toys, and one of the words they said was that this is the nail in the coffin for Turtles because of these designs, right?
I saw that.
Right? The nail in the coffin.
No,
That's
it's
a
not.
little extreme, right? Like, are we forgetting about the next mutation? Are we, you know, are we forgetting about the coming out of their shells tour? I mean, let's be fair. Coming out of their shells tour is pretty ridiculous. They wore normal size shoes. They did not fit into those shoes. And those teeth.
Well, Viacom didn't throw $60 million at Peter Laird so they can just give up.
Right.
Just putting that out there. That doesn't happen.
Right. You know, people hated on the 2012 series when that was announced because they didn't like the designs. They didn't like Donatello's buck teeth because it looked ridiculous. Now they don't like his glasses. That's the new thing. Why does Donatello wear glasses? I'm sick of this gimmick. Well, it's like, well, Michelangelo always has a skateboard. Like, that's his gimmick. So it's like, that's just kind of what it is.
People don't like change.
Yeah. It's, you know, do I like the goggles on Donatello? No. But do they differentiate them? Would I rather, like, if I had to choose between having glasses on Donatello and making Raphael like 16 times the size of the rest of them like they did in Rise, I would definitely go with the glasses on Donatello all day.
Yeah.
Keeping them uniform in size, that's the way it should be, in my opinion. You know, I know
Yeah,
that.
absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, Raph's the brute, but he shouldn't be 16 times the size than the rest of them. So that's kind of like
On
my hot take.
steroids.
Yeah, it's like the nail in the coffin just seems a little ridiculous. They have dropped the ball on Turtles so many times, in my opinion, or in other people's opinions on stuff that just ended up being great. The 2003 series wasn't super well received when it came out when I was that age, and like I was in high school, but at the same time, nobody was saying anything positive about it. Then the 2007 movie came out, and no one even cared about it. The video game for Xbox and PlayStation wasn't the greatest. But now 2023, and we're looking back at those. Like the 2007 movie was incredible, right?
Yeah.
Like that was so.
That one is definitely catered to mid teens. That wasn't kids or adults. It was like teens, pretty much.
Yeah, and it was canonically
was
a
nice.
sequel to it was the fourth movie because
Yeah.
was it the intro scene or the ending scene where they showed all the stuff on the shelf? That's canonically in with the live action
Ending scene.
Yeah.
When Raph's putting his helmet, and then Mikey brings over the Cowabunga Carl helmet to put on the shelf too.
Yep. Yeah. So
It's got Shredder and all that.
So that's just kind of like my 2 cents. I'm glad we got to talk about that because we actually haven't talked about that as a group in our group chat with anybody else. This has just kind of been something that was kind of bouncing around the groups. I haven't seen it in any other group online. Have you? Like, I haven't seen anybody posting photos of the leaks and talking about them.
No, like I said, I haven't seen much of it. I will say, since we clearly know that it's dedicated towards children, if you want to know what people think about it, if you have a kid, go ask them what their opinion about how it looks is. Right. My daughter will go till she's blue in the face that 2012 is the best series like ever. So it depends. They all have their place. That's how I look at it.
I mean, I'll say with the 3 seasons I saw, okay, crucify me. The 2012 series is better than the 1980 series because with the recreations of the stories there, and obviously the new animation style being a lot smoother and not as janky as that old stuff. That old stuff is very tough to watch, and it's very slapstick. Watching it was definitely made for kids. The 2012, I think, was made for all ages. They somehow did it, and they did it right. And I'll go on the book saying 2012 is the best series of the Turtles when it comes to anything that was that was in a TV series style.
See, I would say the original series was definitely the safest. That's your breakout. You gotta you're catering to a very specific thing, and at that time it was so new that it had to be safe. And there was also so many regulations that got brought in on it later on, like having the ridiculous get rid of the nunchucks but keep the size in the
right
Ninjago. Or katana, if you want to say Leo has katana. I believe it's Ninjago. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, a whole nother argument. But I personally like the 2003 series as being the best, mainly because it has a lot more to do with Laird in it, and I really like his viewpoint that they took, and I thought the series went really good. The Battle Nexus is one of my favorite things that's ever come out of anything Ninja Turtles. So when Donnie, or not, I'm sorry, not Donnie, when Mikey came, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to go into and destroy it. It's good. Go watch Battle Nexus. Games were pretty repetitive for sure. I only have Battle Nexus 2, I believe. But
games were okay. Yeah, games weren't too bad.
Thanks.
Oh man, I remember there were 2 copies of the 2003 game on Game Boy.
Yeah, those are great.
So much.
Yeah, those are incredible. Yeah. Well, all right. So we've been doing this for a little bit. This is, like I said, this is our first one. We're calling this episode 0, kind of like a fun little test run. We're going to post this regardless if you made it through. Thank you. But I guess we'll just do some closing thoughts of what we might do in the future. This was not planned right here. This is just us just kind of I'm putting all y'all on the spot right now. So, Steven, closing thoughts. What do you want to do with this in the future? What should we think? What do we think people should expect from this?
To get informed, to learn about what's upcoming, to hear our thoughts and see what's going on in the group, and overall just to have fun.
Definitely. What about you, Nick?
How about you, Gary?
No, not me.
Okay.
We're going with Nick.
Nick
I'll go last.
Okay, you go last.
Well, like Steven said, just kind of inform people. I mean, discuss, have conversations about things that are up and coming, pros and cons. I mean, so much possibility that we can do with this, and can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah. What about you, Justin?
I mean, everything that they said for sure. I mean, I'm excited to see where this all leads to myself. We've been talking about it for so long now that it's nice to see it just coming together in general. I'm hoping I don't have to talk as much next time. There are other two people talking about it more.
Yeah,
But
can you
Neither.
tell who the two people on
We
this,
love
on this
hearing your
podcast
voice.
have been on? Can you tell who the two people that do these a lot are out of this whole thing? There's only two of us.
it's okay. They'll get used to it. They'll have to
Yeah,
join it.
exactly.
Yeah. We all start somewhere. It's a first thing. It's a trial and error. But I mean, I'm really excited for it. You know, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. I'm glad that we are finally doing it. You know, but I look at this portion like it's kind of like, you know, the website, you know, is there for information and all that. And like there's our group where we base everything about the positivity of the collections, and a lot of times we even strain outside of turtles, even though that's our main focus. But there's so many different things, you know, like I'm excited for if we ever get to go in and do interviews and stuff like that, you know, have people like Aaron or Hatter on, I don't know if those are going to be possible things, but I like that it's happening, and we've now got a stepping stone to do anything or whatever else we decide to go and do from here.
Definitely, yeah. So we'll definitely be doing that. For people that sat here and got to the end of this, I'm sorry if the audio was bad on any of our ends. Like I said, this is our first time doing this. It straight up took 3 hours to set up and then 2 hours of prep time before we got this going. So I'm an open book, behind the scenes kind of guy. So like, there's a lot of work that went into this. We had this idea a year ago. I pitched the idea to the guys back in September. Huge shout out to Jesus, also known as Blood Empire, Instagram, the Party Wagon. He did the logo for the Party Wagon podcast that you're looking at right now. It was so cool. I hit him up. I was like, hey, this is my vision. He said, this is my vision. Sent us this logo. Boom. So we announced this back in October. It was going to be an October podcast. Here we are in January 2023. We finally got this damn thing going. This is what I've been dreading, was that 5 hours of all that prep time. But now that we got it, we are full steam ahead. And yeah, dude, as I was kind of saying, yeah, Mad Hatter, Near is going to be here. Near was the first one I actually talked to about this originally, so he'll be here occasionally. So Mad Hatter reviews on YouTube if you don't watch him already. Near will be here. And Dave, the TMNT collector on Instagram, got us hooked up with Renee Jacobs, Townsend Coleman. I've been able to meet Ben Bishop, who's done the last Ronin stuff, which is awesome. He's in the Party Wagon as well. So hopefully I can get Ben in on here soon. He is expecting a kid, so we'll see, how that works. We want to impede on his personal life, but I know he's been finishing up. Was it Last Ronin Lost Years 2? As of today, I think that might be wrapping up, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, man, overall, I think we'll get some cool people on here. We're all kind of just learning this as we go. So hopefully, if you have some thoughts, some ideas of either what you want us to talk about or cover that's interesting that we might not have thought of, or just kind of critique, let us know. Like, what did you think of this? Was this good? What do you want us to do more of? I feel like a robot delivering interviews to my friends here, so I'm trying not to do that. I come from a background of talking into a camera for actual work, so I'm trying to be myself here and not be a goof and not be as stiff and be more of a goofball. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to join us. There's no outro music. There's no intro music. We're just kind of winging this. So episode 0 of the Party Wagon podcast is in the books. And we look forward to hanging out with you in the Party Wagon Facebook group and at tmntpw.com, which you can see also on the screen in small letters underneath our logo. So, hell yeah, thanks for joining us. Take it easy.
Yeah.